I feel like it's like a cliche or like almost like a bumper sticker, but I feel like a lot of people are already fucking defeated from the second they wake up in the morning, and they just have this mindset that's, I don't know, I just look at people and I go, I just feel like a lot of people don't want a better life bad enough. They want a better life, but they're not willing to do any work to get there. They're not willing to, I was going to say look in the phone book, because I don't remember the last time I had one of those. They're not willing to look in the phone book and go to the yellow pages and let your fingers do the walking. They're not willing to see if there's any programs, if they don't have health insurance, if they could go talk to a therapist or a counselor and start making progress. They're not willing to go to the grocery store and start shopping for shit that's going to help maximize their potential. They're not willing to cut people out of their lives because they're in a codependent, fucking toxic relationship. One of the biggest epiphanies I had was, it's not illegal to cut people out of your life. That every time, it's like I got rid of my television because every time I watched TV, I wanted to punch somebody in the face, usually the news people. And I go, why am I watching this shit? It just makes me, and this is before the word trigger became a buzzword, but see, this shit just makes me fucking angry. Fuck these people. Same thing with people in my life, I would go, why? It's not illegal. Like, they can't call the police and say, Brian, stop talking to me. It's been 2 weeks. I'm just, and you be, I don't know. I mean, people are afraid of being alone or whatever, but I'll tell you, when you're alone, you can really hear the voice of God, and you can really hear yourself think when you're not, watching Shark Tank reruns and whatever other bullshit is on, I mean, you've got too many distractions in your life, when you get by yourself and you get alone. And I don't know why I think a lot of people are afraid because they're thinking that they're going to find that, I don't know what they're afraid of, but you're never gonna find yourself, with somebody else. I mean, somebody might help you and lead you and all of that stuff, but you're never gonna find yourself if you never branch out and just close that door at night or go, I could never imagine talking to this person, never imagine whatever, it's like you don't need, I don't know, some people need to be, they think that's the thing, is they think they need to be, with people, well, I can tell you, look at the people that you're with and ask yourself, are these successful people? Like, does this dude, is this dude running his life right? Or is this girl running her life right? Is this person, a hard worker? Probably not. They're probably just like you, just mediocre and fucking just doing the bare minimum to survive. Yesterday I got home. What did I do? We walked to the gym. I walked to the gym with the dog. I got home at 3 o'clock. Hallelujah. The birds were singing, the bells were ringing. I got to the gym and I didn't feel like working out, But I put my music on, drank some, water, and just kind of started going. So I do a lot of things I don't want to do, like in the morning. I don't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning most mornings, I don't want to hear my first alarm go off at 3:45 and make sure that my fucking, coffee maker's working or whatever. I want to stay in bed just like everybody else. But you have to just kind of come to it. I just got tired of being a fucking loser. You know, I was like, I'm not going. I just, you know, finally one day I just woke up and I said, I'm done using drugs. I'm done with all of this nonsense. I'm done being 300 fucking pounds. I'm done, you know, feeling like shit. I'm done fucking aching all the time. I'm done being dependent on pills. I'm done, you know, spending all my fucking money on this shit. This is no way to live. This isn't living. You know, and you have to be willing to be done, whether it's with relationships, a job that you don't want to fucking be at. Man, life's too short. Life's way too short to be going through the motions. Now, there are times where you're going to have to go through the motions. Usually I tell people, you know, sometimes you got to go through the motions when you're in a bad time or you're in a rut. You know, just to keep your head above the water, or because depression can overwhelm you and take over your body. But if you stick it out and you're praying about stuff and you're asking God, God will send you an answer, or he will send you, you know, words, you know, or he'll send you peace, or he'll send you the strength to get through stuff. 'Cause there was plenty of mornings I got up and it was negative 20 degrees. And I would go to a group therapy meeting at 9:30. I'd come outside like I am right now, and there'd be fucking frost, you know, like an inch of snow all over the ground. And it would be bitter out. You know what I mean? So and then you think it's cold? Imagine going on the subway, going underground when you're already cold. You know, like right now, my knee, my shin, my shoulder, my neck, that shit hurts. Imagine being in that kind of weather. And then you know, you look back, especially if you're like 20-something or older, look back at little pockets of your life where like maybe you were in high school, and just look back and go, man, 4 years, like I could have never imagined owning a dog, you know? I would have never went and looked for a dog and just had one. I would have felt like that would have been irresponsible. So I just tell people, make sure that, you know, make sure that you're filling your life with positive shit. And I just look at the negative ass music I hear coming out of people's cars. You know, they think that they're hustling. All they're doing is, you know, there's nothing wrong with promoting your brand, but the focus of sobriety and this type of lifestyle is you're to be of service to others, not just yourself. Yeah, you got to invest in you and take care of yourself to be optimal enough to take care of others, but you can't be fucking, I gotta, you know, I'm going on YouTube buying ads, I'm, you know, whatever, and just all I'm doing is thinking about every time I talk to someone, I hand them a card in person with my YouTube channel. I tell very few people about my YouTube channel because, one, it's not for everybody. Two, I just feel like if God wanted this show to be popular, it would be more popular. And this type of stuff is never going to be popular. You know, I ran into an Indian lady and her husband yesterday, and they are Christians, and they're supporting churches in India. And, you know, I'm very skeptical about that type of stuff, but after looking at what they do, and, you know, I'm like, well, you know, and I said, what is the main religion over there? She said Hindu. And she said, you know, I've been telling people, you know, and like she said, I've been telling people, what can you say? What is a Hindu? Or I want to ask this guy that's Muslim, and I'm not saying this like facetiously, but what is, you know, when I look at him, and you're praying, you're supposed to be praying 5 times a day or whatever towards Mecca, towards the east. I've never heard a person's testimony. When I tell people what God has done for me, and like ask them to share what he's done for them, like what has Allah or whomever they believe in, they don't ever really have anything of any, like, you know, like you're like, Man, I was on pain pills for 10 years. How many people do you know that were walking around a third of their lives taking 180 Percocets in a week with a broken neck, a broken life, and everything else, and just pills, then getting on Suboxone, then getting off of that, detoxing in jail, yada, 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 being homeless, and everything that was, losing all my shit, somebody robbing all my stuff, moving down here without a car. I can tell you what God's done for me. You know what I mean? I can tell you what God's done for me. Right now, if I was, not sober, one, I probably would have already taken, a handful of pills, probably had some vodka in the freezer, and, I probably would have counted them about 20 times already on the way to my first stop. And that was my life. You know what I mean? For 3, 6, 9, 12, 1,500, 3,000, close to 4,000 fucking days of drugs and withdrawals and all of the scumbag shit that entails, and just being addicted. Now, I can tell you what God's done for me. So, if you want to, you do whatever you feel is right for you. All I can do is give you the information, and I had to surrender my life to the process. I had to surrender my life when I went to recovery that, maybe these people know more than you do, Mr. Know-It-All. Maybe you need to swallow your pride and listen, I'm not saying it came easy, but, get out of your comfort zone, go to a meeting or wherever you feel led to go. There's just so many openings in mental health things on the internet, or even watching YouTube videos and podcasts. I mean, there's so many resources out there. Go start doing jiu-jitsu, grab a mountain bike, a pair of ice skates, I don't know, something, but you've got to start moving, you've got to start moving today.